Hi there, it's Psychic Cynthia here. Welcome to Mercury Retrograde and happy April Fool's Day. And yes, it's true, it's not an April Fool's joke. Unless, the cosmos is maybe playing a little joke, it might be. Today, on April 1st, 2024, Mercury is turning retrograde later today. It's stationing retrograde. Actually, that is the correct term. I say turning retrograde because that's the lay term, but it actually doesn't turn retrograde all at once. So stationing means standstill. So don't be surprised if your plans right now, right around this time, April 1st, 2024, if you have plans, things might hit a standstill for this week, okay? Or they might really slow down. And Mercury retrograde is infamous for its, tendency to, correspond with or generate delays and disruptions in your plans, in your scheduling, in your traveling. And also even in things like transportation and tech. So, these are things that can all be strained. They can be affected by Mercury retrograde in the sense that these areas of life and even the actual technical components like the cell phones, the computers, the Zoom, the internet connection, the cars, the trains, the airplanes, all of it, that can all just literally be affected by these magnetic shifts. So, it's starting this week, and right around the stationing, there can be a little bit of wobble, is what I call it, like a wobble. The equilibrium is thrown off here on Earth. These are real gravitational shifts, and I know that there's some people who think these gravitational shifts have no effect. They're just, not very observant with their inner eye and even with their physical eyes. So look around. Do you notice things like a little bit off? I mean, not to mention we're getting ready to have an eclipse next Monday, a total solar eclipse. I'll do a separate video about that. But yeah, the equilibrium's a little bit off right now. And again, Mercury retrograde starting April 1st, 2024, 27 degrees Aries, I believe. It will move from 27 degrees Aries backwards, quote unquote. The planet doesn't actually move backwards, okay? This is a slowing down. But in terms of the zodiac degrees, 27 degrees Aries to 15 degrees Aries. So check your chart if you happen to have it. If not, there's a lot of places online you can get one for free. Look in that zone in your astrology chart, 15 to 27 degrees Aries, if you want to go that deep. If you don't, that's okay too. Just understand that we are, activating in such a way that it's almost like a deactivation, because Mercury retrograde is like, hey, power down a little, or at least stay the course, keep focusing on what you were before the retrograde. It's not a time to generate new ideas. Well, you can generate the new ideas, but I wouldn't move forward with any new ideas you generate right now, like major ones, okay? It's more a time to keep going, to keep the course, because this puts a strain on the rational brain, on the logic, and it tends to create like a, it's a lot like the eclipse coming up. It tends to create a shadow, a blurring over, a clouding over. The facts are not clear. That the information you need to make a fully informed decision is not there. This is why we say you do not sign, if you're wise, you do not sign binding contracts during Mercury retrograde. Although, it's interesting, sometimes appliances or cars or things that have been on the fritz before, they do break down permanently sometimes during Mercury retrograde. If you have something on the edge, just be aware. So I do know a lot of people have had to go and get new cars during Mercury retrograde. If I was facing that situation, I would try everything I could to postpone getting the new vehicle, until after the retrograde. Or let me say this, to postpone, signing on the bottom line. Maybe you could rent something or lease something for a month and then go get your new car while you look. That's just a sidebar, but it might be relevant to somebody watching. I'm sure it will be. So yes, from April 1st to April 25th, this time we have Mercury officially in retrograde. Remember, there is some people are calling it the retrograde shade period at the end. So afterwards, I mean, that goes all the way to May 4th, frankly, but these next 3 weeks, just know to expect the unexpected. Know that there will be some delays. Your plans will fall through. This is all a natural part of Mercury retrograde. It's like the universe is trying to take you on a detour. It's not against you. It's just saying, hey, it's time to pause. It's time to slow down. It's time to get a different perspective, to review, to reconsider. So yeah, you'll find yourself, even if you don't want to, even if you're trying to really move forward, you're going to find yourself going back and retracing your steps and thinking about the past and maybe even doubting or reviewing. And that's all natural. That's okay right now. I mean, don't get too caught up in it. And just try to be flexible, try to be adaptive. The less rigid you are, the more open you are to change, the better you will do during Mercury retrograde. In other words, the more responsive you can be to what comes up. If you're kind of like, an inner infant and you have to have everything your way and everything has to just be how you thought it was going to be, and if it isn't, you're going to throw a fit. Well, prepare to throw a lot of fits in the next few weeks, because some things are not going to go the way you thought they were going to go. Sometimes they might go even better. But yeah, you can't control things as easily now through logic. I don't know if we ever really can, but sometimes we have the illusion that we can. This is more of a time for retreating into the heart and into the spirit. And you can still do things, okay? You don't have to go hide under a rock. That's not the purpose of, I think, observing these patterns. But there are times, there's seasons in nature and in the cosmos, and there is a season to conserve one's energy, to focus it, and to, also there's a season to be more yin, to be more receptive, to go with the flow, to follow through with what we have started, if it is indeed still worthwhile to you. Or maybe it is a time to just rest for you. You have to kind of decide this on a case-by-case basis. Each Mercury retrograde is different, each stage of your life. I'm planning on going forward with organizing an event that I've been thinking about in my mind for some time. I love to, when I can, hold a retreat, a gathering for my psychic, astro, cosmic tribe people during Mercury retrogrades. I know that probably sounds crazy, but now listen, when I do that, I know I have to double check everything, and that's how it is during Mercury retrograde. You have to double and triple check. You have to have plan A, plan B, plan C, maybe plan D if you're going to try to do something. And really, you just can't be too attached, You're going to, get up in the morning and whatever you're going to do, just don't be too attached to things working out the way, you think they're going to. And again, they might work out better than you thought, but, usually things really do have a mind of their own. Our conscious minds don't have as much impact on shaping events during Mercury retrograde. That is my observation. It is a time where the energy from the subconscious comes up more. We call that fate. I would say it's the subconscious, whether it's the subconscious your own or the collective subconscious or a group subconscious. Perhaps the subconscious of nature herself. I don't know, I'm getting too deep here. Okay, but again, April 1st to April 25th, just be aware of the, possibility for increased miscommunications and misunderstandings, especially in the emotional realm. Please speak from the heart if you can now, and listen, really listen, and make sure you understand. Ask clarifying questions. And for the God's sake, if you're going to sign a contract, which I do not recommend, I do not, but if you're going to during this time, or if you're going to take a giant big trip, I don't recommend that either. A little day trip, yeah, or to go somewhere you've been before, yeah, that can be really refreshing during Mercury retrograde, but, this is not the best time to undertake your giant undertakings, whatever they are, trips or projects. If you're going to do any of that, again, double check, ask questions, clarify, do not assume anything. It's not a good idea to do that anyway, but sometimes you can get by with that and you can just trust in the universe. And you should just trust in the universe. It's just that right now, the universe is flowing in such a way that, there is, an upset in the equilibrium, and some of the calmness and the smoothness that you normally depend upon, even the people that normally have their stuff together, will not have their stuff together as much. That's all. So, you got to go with it. You've got to flow with it, because you don't have any other choice. Well, you can go throw a tantrum in the corner if you want to do that. And hey, I understand. I've thrown a few tantrums in my life. By the way, tantrum does come, or is related to tantra, the sacred yogic practice. So there's something to be said for the ecstasy of a tantrum, but it doesn't always look good in public. Just keep that in mind. Alrighty. Well, happy Mercury retrograde. I hope you're able to find some replenishment during this time. I hope that instead of just trying to push ahead and go against the energies, you'll take some time to, have a retreat, to nurture yourself. I mean, this is all Mercury retrogrades, whatever the signs are. They are great times for going within and tending to your nest, whether that is your home or your garden or the inner nest, of yourself, your body, your soul. They're great times for nurturing. Much better for moving into that yin energy of nurturing and collecting up ideas, rather than, going out and hunting and trying to focus on one new thing, especially one new thing. Well, one new thing is better than 12 new things. Focusing is better than not focusing right now. Okay, so there's layers of how you work with the energy, but if you can, whatever you're trying to accomplish, if you can think of this as a time of nurturing and nesting, while you take action. I mean, it is in Aries, 27 degrees to 15 degrees Aries. It will move that way, and Aries is an action sign. So I have noticed that when there's a lot of Aries energy, and there is right now, not just this Mercury retrograde, you do need to take some action. I'm just recommending it more in a nurturing sense. That could be nurturing your creative projects too. But the taking of the action will help you to release tension and frustration and dissatisfaction. And these energies all increase anyway during any Mercury retrograde: tension and dissatisfaction and restlessness. But when you throw in Aries, and then you throw in a solar eclipse next Monday in Aries, so people aren't too pleased with things right now. You might be one of them. Taking a little bit of constructive action will help. Just focus on what's in your realm of influence. Where can you easily improve? Where can you make a difference? And I'll talk more about this probably in the video on the eclipse. We need to be really careful with the Aries energies activating, that we don't lash out at our partners or the people in our world and focus on what they're not doing for us, because the Aries energy is about focusing on what you can do for yourself, and get this, what you can also do for others in terms of inspiring them. If you're angry at others in your life and you think they should do better, don't lecture them or yell at them about it. You do better. You show them. Okay. That's how people learn. Actually, people learn by love. They'll find their own way with love, but they do need examples. People need examples too. That's actually how humans transmit knowledge. So anyway, on that note, much love to you all, much cosmic love, and just sending you a lot of light. And I hope you'll open to the beauty of the springtime and let it heal and nurture you as we move through this retrograde passage together. Bright blessings.